Hi, I'm recording this on the 12th of January, and yesterday was the new moon in Capricorn. Now, I sort of have an interest in astrology, I'm interested in what people have to say about it, but I'm not an astrologer and I don't pretend to have that much knowledge about it. So, why did I feel like I wanted to say something about this one? It's for a couple of reasons. One is when people talk about Capricorn, sometimes there seems to be this sort of sense of, you know, heavy energy. There's things to do with duty and working hard, the goat climbing up the mountain and all that. And I tend to be a little bit defensive of Capricorn because I am a Capricorn and it's a really good sign. So there's a little bit of me that was like, no, I'm going to talk about this. Um, not necessarily that other people have been saying bad things. This is just something that I carry within me, so I take responsibility for that. There's also a linking with Capricorn energy with the Devil card in the tarot and Saturn, which are, well, let's face it, not the most joyous energies, but they are really useful to connect with, not necessarily the devil as a sort of dark energy, but as what ties and binds there might be for each one of us on a collective level that would be useful to look at and do something about. I also wanted to say about Capricorn that we tend to forget, we call the Capricorn the goat, but the symbol for Capricorn is actually the sea goat. It's got a fishy kind of mermaid-like tail, and you can look up the Greek myth that's behind all that. But the reason I bring it up is because what is less spoken about and perhaps less acknowledged about Capricorn, though it's an earth energy, it has the capacity to dive deep into the subconscious, into the realms of creativity, into the realms of the non-logical. So in terms of navigating this time that we're in, I think there is something that's really potentially very useful about harnessing that Capricorn energy, which is immensely pragmatic, or can be, it's not always, can be, has that capacity for focus and, yes, for hard work climbing those mountains, but with that tail deep in the sea, because it's when we have that tail deep in the sea that it doesn't all become dry and just grinding hard work, but is inspired by that connection with that creativity, with the unconscious, rather, bringing it into the conscious and then turning it into action, because this is what it's about. It's about having an awareness of what needs to change, because for all of us there are certain things that we might want to change. If you don't have anything that you want to change, then good on you. But I think most of us probably have at least small things that we want to change. And I'd say globally, they're probably rather large things that many of us are looking at and wanting to be different, and just having the sense of, well, how are we going to manifest this? The desire is there, but how? And this is a time for really getting those seeds planted. What do you say? Those things that you're supposed to have in a row. I've forgotten what they are right now. But anyway, things in a row. Somebody will know what I'm talking about. I know what I mean. And what else is informing me is the tarot reading that I did for the new year, which I actually did in around the middle of December, and I took quite some time to really get to grips with it and really, what should I say, listen to the messages that came, yes, through the cards, but also through tuning in and so on and so forth. And one of the card reading, if you haven't seen it, was connecting to various energies aligned with the different chakras that we have within our bodies and some outside of our bodies too. And one of those was the Earth Star chakra, the one that is beneath our feet. And kind of, I mean, they all connect. They all communicate with each other. But there's something about the Earth Star which is our connection with the earth. So we've got the root chakra within our bodies, the Earth Star beneath our feet. And what came up in the reading, I'll see if I can't show you the cards because I don't have them out anymore. Let's see if that shows up. Was quite a number of cards. Now, those 5 cards on the top row, I don't know if you can even see them clearly, were in the position of the energy of that chakra, or the energies associated with the with what we associate with that chakra. So it can be, amongst other things, it can act as a sort of filter between us and the earth. Things can get kind of clogged up in there. And what I'm getting at, I'm probably using way too many words, is part of what inspired me to make this video was a lingering sort of nagging sense that there's something really important here about our communication with the earth, right? So we talk about releasing things into the earth to be transmuted. We talk about connecting with the beautiful healing energy of the earth, and we talk about grounding. Now, quite separately to this reading, grounding is something that I've been quite big on and I consider quite important. And I'd noticed a change in the way that I experience grounding, and I became curious about that. And the first thing that I looked at was me. It's like, what am I doing differently? What's going on here? And it wasn't unpleasant, it was just different, and therefore a little bit surprising. And obviously, because I became curious and asked questions, that it was a little disconcerting because I didn't understand it. But it was literally today when I was thinking about this new moon in Capricorn, I was thinking about this reading, and I thought, let's really investigate this. And it became very clear that if, as so many of us are talking about and have been talking about for a long time, there are quite fundamental changes in the energy of the earth herself, that the earth is evolving, the earth is ascending, the earth is changing the nature of her vibration, then why or how could that not affect our relationship, right? When we ground, when we connect with the earth, would we not experience some of that? And why would we not welcome that? And that's something that I've started to do, having begun to, do I understand it? No. Am I 100% sure of what I'm saying as an absolute truth? No. It's a line of inquiry. I'm I suppose investigating is one way of putting it, but also in sharing this, throwing out the question, does anybody else have similar experiences or thoughts about that? Well, how does that all connect together? Looking at that tarot reading, going on the intuitive hits, the other guidance, not necessarily always relating directly to this, that I've been getting, it seems as though we're in a place where, yes, we are being pushed yet again and ever more strongly to look at those things that we are bound to through tradition, perhaps through habit, because they're familiar, because we're encouraged to be bound to them. And when I say things that we're bound to, beliefs, systems, when I talk about traditions, it's habit, because we've always done things a certain way and they've worked very well, we carry on doing them in the same way. And it feels as though the time for questioning that is now, and the time to really notice whether some habits are not really doing what we want them to be doing, or serving us or serving the people around us in the way that perhaps they did. We have the opportunity to bring in new habits, to adapt, to change. And that can feel really destabilizing. And that's what I wanted to get to. I'll show them again. The cards for the Earth star here indicated quite a lot of activity, and not all of it pleasant. I mean, everything has a purpose, and everything has its positive side, and everything has its opportunities, and there's loads of opportunities here. But alongside those opportunities, there is a sense of destabilization, of moving away from the familiar, from the static, from the stagnant, actually, and from the stagnant that can bind us through change. And I keep hearing the word seismic. It's seismic because it's big, but it's also seismic because it's as though in the way that I'm speaking about those cards, as though the earth beneath our feet is shifting. But when we understand what's going on, then we can move towards that without fear, to get to the opportunities that result from this process, right? But in addition to that, I feel, and I'm asking, and I'm questioning this, whether the earth beneath our feet actually is shifting, and therefore whether we're actively grounding or not. Everybody has a connection with the earth. It's as though, we're standing, well, we literally are, aren't we? I mean, we've got those tectonic plates that shift and move, but it's as though we actually have a sense of that, and that can be really destabilizing. And so if we connect to the fish aspect of the Capricorn, the part that swims easily in the less certain, the emerging, then it becomes something that we don't have to worry about, if we are worrying about it, or find quite so disconcerting, and instead use that that ability to navigate water, to navigate what flows, to navigate those things that we might not necessarily think of as existing in a state of flux or movement, but they are so much better than if we want to stay bound to what has been and what represents the sort of structure of permanence. We are collectively moving out of or into an understanding that the kind of permanence that we might have been hanging on to is made of smoke, really. And moving out of that into something that is different is exciting. It's really exciting if we stop resisting. So there we go. This is a little bit unformulated because, as I said, it's an inquiry. It's an emerging, I believe it's an understanding, but I could be proved wrong. So would be really interested in what you might have to say about this. Anyway, thanks for listening, and bye for now.